Hello, YouTube. Welcome to this week's episode where we're going to be talking about Bad Batch episodes 3 and episode 4. This is Alil.
This is Steve.
And this is Sean.
So episode 3 and 4 we're doing together because we didn't, Sean wasn't able to join us last week, and we can't talk Bad Batch without Sean. Can't talk Star Wars stuff without Sean.
No, you can't. Congratulations to Dave Filoni on that creative director, even though he's been creative director for like the last couple weeks.
I was going to
or
say,
last couple months.
Yeah,
Wow.
It was just a late announcing of the promo, but yes, I mean, they did it right. This man needs to be in charge and needs to keep overseeing more and more of the story.
I agree.
Very true. Very true.
So Bad Batch, episode 3 was The Replacements. This is one where we get more of a Crosshair. It's kind of more in his background. There's the Empire starting to recruit. They want volunteer soldiers because they feel that having volunteer soldiers will only strengthen them. And like there was one line in that I was just like thinking about, like, kind of makes sense. Why this would help them is when you saw those new guys and they were talking about, like, well, being with the Empire, I get paid, I get fed, I have a roof over my head and everything. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, it's kind of true. Like if you're...
Well, these guys were Republic fighters.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
They've been swayed over because it's like, I mean, fuck, like, you guys don't have nothing to offer and you just lost the war. So you may as well just join up with these guys.
Well, but they didn't lose the war. They won the war. And now it's an empire. Like, because the Republic now turns into the rebellion. So it's like this whole kind of weird shifting that we're seeing here, and I love the whole thing with the credits. I think that happened in episode 2, starting it where they were transferring everybody over into new Imperial credits.
Yes.
They did that I think that was episode 4, but.
Well, they did it in 4. They did it in 4 too. But remember when they were trying to smuggle the other clone and his family off? That's when they started the new chain codes and everything.
Right,
yes.
But like episode 3, this is also the one where I didn't really care for the story going on with Hunter and all that, where they crashed on that planet and that dragon thing took their little piece.
I know.
And I was just all the stuff, and like Omega has to,
this is how they do it. This is how they do it, man. All those little filler episodes, and
I just didn't like. But I liked everything going on with Crosshairs and the other team. Like, one thing I'll say about this show is they do not shy away from killing motherfuckers.
They
straight up, like, Crosshairs not only murders several like rebellion fighters here, he also murders the one replacement guy. Just like straight up shoots him in the chest and kills him. Blam.
Yeah.
And then directs the other 3 replacements to then kill the rest of these people.
Yeah.
And they do with fire. It's like, oh my god! Like,
there was kids there.
Yeah, innocent people,
dark.
Families. Yeah.
This is real dark. But then also you see Crosshairs. Like, he walks back into that room, and he looks at the crosshatches, and he's sitting on the bed and look at the other people sitting in the beds of his former team, and he's like, kind of gives it like a weird look. I'm like, oh man. And then there's that talk that the Bad Batch has, and they're like, the one guy Wrecker's like, I'll just say it, I miss him. And then they start talking about the inhibitor chips, and they're like, it's kind of, it might make sense that he's only acting this way because of his inhibitor chip. They
increased the I don't know what it is, how they increased.
Yeah, they increased it.
And
but they're also, but you see, Tech is working on a.
I love Tech. I love Tech, and I love Echo. I think they're really great.
But Tech is working on something where they can find inhibitor chips. He's working on a scanner so they can find it.
Yeah.
And so they can neutralize it completely, because they're still worried that somehow they might get switched. So that's like
they haven't come across Rex yet. Once they come across Rex, I think they'll really have a little bit more knowledge on what's going on. And I know they're going to run into Rex because we've seen it in the trailer. So I think I can't wait for that to happen.
But that just means that they're going to use whatever they get, whatever tool that like neutralizes it. Yeah. They're going to go out and hunt for Crosshairs at that point.
Of course.
They have to. He's their brother. They have to.
Yeah, but the curiosity for me about this show is, where does it end? Like, what happens after this? Like, how far are they going to go with it? I know
how many seasons?
Well, I don't think it's gonna go. I think it's only one season. But I know Filoni, man, like he'll tell a story and it'll work in some kind of weird fucking way. It'll just work and be cohesive with what we needed to know about
It
Star
already
Wars.
is working because those tall aliens on that water planet, like you're getting so much more of them and like their irritation with the Empire, who's basically shitting on all their work. And the whole
Right.
reason that the Empire succeeded was because of their work. And now they're like, we don't need you anymore. And they're like, well, fuck you. Like
Well,
we did all
I think
this.
where
We're
this is
proud of it.
I think where this is going is it's tying into more stuff that we saw in Mandalorian and everything with cloning and with Jedi blood, because Omega is a Jedi.
I
Her
agree.
blood is
Yes,
spliced
something.
with Force blood. She has Force power.
She got
Because
those
when she was in
midichlorians.
that pit, with that little dragon thing. I'm telling you, I felt that, when she was kind of shying away from it, there was some kind of connection thing that they were trying to show there. I really think that's what we're gonna see.
She's force sensitive.
And I'm trying to figure out like what if she's Obi-Wan's? Obi-Wan was on Camino.
I'm not.
I'm just saying, like, what if they got his blood somehow? Because remember, he was on Camino in Attack of the Clones.
He was, but they didn't give up. He didn't give up his blood or anything, though, did he? I don't know.
Maybe there's a flashback scene where
Like, hey,
maybe there's a flashback scene where they give him a pat on the shoulder and he's got like a little needle thing. Like, what was that movie we watched where the
I know what you're talking about.
Just took
I
the-
forgot what-
I forgot what we just
Well,
watched.
yeah, he had that big fight with Jango Fett there, so maybe he scraped his knee or whatever and left a little residue behind. Something.
No, or they're just shifting fucking blood from the fucking Jedi some kind of way. They're figuring that. They believe me, they figured out a way to do it.
Yeah.
And then
I mean,
that ties into them wanting Grogu's blood. Like, all this stuff is going to start tying and leaving these little bread crumbs.
But my issue is how far do the Bad Batch go in this universe? Or do they make it up to, New Hope, past New Hope? But Rex got old in after New Hope.
Could you imagine?
or after Jedi? So,
but they have that man.
They do age.
But they also have the Obi-Wan show coming out. You could easily
live
slide
action.
them in on an episode of live action with those cats.
that'd be cool, man.
You
That'd
could
be really
easily slide them in. You
Well-
wouldn't even need them to take off their helmets. They could just show up in their whole.
Yeah, that's the great
outfits.
part.
But
You
here's
can
the
do
thing
that.
too. Like, so going in episode 4, Cornered, they bring in Fennec. They bring her in,
Yeah, they do. Yeah,
and that's
she's a
Ming-Na.
Mandalorian.
And she's in Mandalorian, so it's
I know. This is my issue though. There's no age difference in this. It's like
Yeah, but you know what? If you look- but if you look at-
because Ming-Na Wen played herself as her current age in The Mandalorian, and here she was young. She was like a young 20-something. It
Yeah,
looked like
she was-
she didn't look like she was in her 30s or 40s. So you got to add another 15 to
do.
20 years
But-
onto what
Okay.
she is there.
Makes
and-
sense.
But if you look at her too, it looks like she hasn't aged. I mean, she still looks good as hell, like compared to
So-
when she was way back
Don't get me
then.
wrong. I'm not trying to poo-poo Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So check it though. So Omega is young in this, so clearly she's gonna grow up. Where are we gonna get her in the Star Wars universe?
Yo, she's dropped into Mandalorian season 3. Imagine she's with Luke.
I don't know if Luke's gonna play a big part in this anymore, but Omega can
No, but,
definitely play a role.
but Luke took. No, I'm saying what Luke took Grogu somewhere.
They
There
gotta
has to
bring
be
Luke
other
back in
Jedis
somewhere.
With,
How
so
would
they
do
can
that?
easily drop Omega in as like what? Like she would be like a teenager or
No, she'd
or
be
like
in her
early
20s.
Yeah, fucking great.
She
Fucking
could be
great.
there with Grogu. You could have an Omega and Grogu scene.
Fucking Dave Filoni, man. Fuck, man. He deserves every fucking credit he gets, dude.
He's
This
connecting all this. He
is.
look, none of this stuff is not going to have a reason or a payoff. None of it. And again, here with this 4th episode, their little talk about like great chase scenes. This was an amazing chase scene, through the streets with the floating cars and all that shit. Like, not only that, but Ming-Na Wen's character murders police officers.
murders 2 of them motherfuckers. And
Murders them. Just picks up a gun. Pow! I was like, oh my god! Like, cars are blowing up. Shit's going crazy. I'm like, do not shy away from killing people. They put that little girl. She was dangling from the edge of a building because Ming-Na Wen shot at her. I was like, Jesus Christ! Like,
Yeah.
But something's going on with Wrecker here. Something's
Wrecker's
going on with his
having
head.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and he hit his head again too. So I'm wondering
They may
if
fix it. We'll see.
I'm wondering if the inhibitor is going off on him.
Maybe like something happens and it like goes crazy, and he goes crazy because
Oh,
he's
I
also
hope
in the
not.
next
I hope
in the
not.
last two
They gotta
episodes.
fix. They're gonna fix it.
Well, they'll fix it, but like in the last two episodes, he's shown a lot of affection towards Omega. He makes her own room. He goes after her, looking for her. He stands between Ming Na Wen and her. You know what I mean? Like he's starting to become like this big brother figure to her, and really cares for her. So that could create drama if something
It
in his
reminds
head.
me of Zeb. Reminds me of Zeb in many ways.
He does.
from
He
Rebels.
does. He does.
Yeah.
Because
I
he's
just
that
like how-
he's that big brute with the kind heart. You know.
Yeah.
But
like
he's
that.
kind of dumb, I guess. Like he's just kind of like, oh, don't, ow, you know. He just runs around like, I want food.
Oh, but you know what I did love, and we watched it from. Oh no, you didn't see. Damn it, Steve. I don't know if you watched it, but from the last season of Rebels, you know, Anakin gives Wrecker an explosion thing, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna cry now, and he fucking pushes the button and the fucking ship is exploding shit. No, it was so great because he cried just to explode some spaceship. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That
fun.
sounds
I
like
love
a
him, man.
perfectly in character.
Yeah, he's a great character, man. Like the character development in this show is really, really good, and it makes you care about these characters.
You know what was awesome was when Hunter was trying to trade that shit into the alien, and he was like, "How about your droid?" and Echo was like, "Droid," and then he's like, "Come on, we need the credits." He's like, "All right, I'll do it, but not for 2,000. I'm worth way more than 2,000." Like he was all pissed off about the price. He's like, "Don't shortchange me, man. Come on."
I
was very upset at the negotiations.
I love how he put the mask when he does like a robot and shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that's fucking great.
I know.
Where's
he's
that?
like, Hunter's like, "All right, go with your new owner," and he's like, "As you command, sir."
That shit's not on the Hot Toy. I'm pissed about that. I want that shit on the Hot Toy version.
Oh shit, that'd be awesome. If they
I
do
love
like,
how he walks into that room and they're like, they put him in charge of all the droids, and he pulls his mask off and they're like, "You're not a droid. We're gonna alert." And he just pulls a gun on them all. He's like, "Say something." That was awesome. They were like, "Woo, nope." That was great.
yeah.
Yeah, I loved episode 4. I thought episode 4 was great. Again, though, for me here, what's her name? Omega. If she just would have stayed with Hunter.
But they need the Omega for this storyline
Exactly.
to help her grow.
And this is also getting kids in it. I mean, this is
I
teaching a
know.
lesson, Steve.
But
Don't
it's hard. It's hard because like
talk
at one
to
point I get it,
strangers.
where I'm like, okay, but at one point I'm like, I get it, like it's for kids, and then immediately after I'm like, oh, this is for kids. Now I
They
remember.
murder everybody.
I'm like, oh god, this is a mixed messaging. But
Well, I mean, even in the movies, they were lighting people on fire and stuff. I mean, it just happens.
what I like is they don't shy away from it, right? Like
Yeah.
I mean, not people are just not getting shot in the arm, or they're getting knocked off of their speeder bikes and landing on a net or on
like
truck pillows or
like-
whatever. You know, like they're being killed. Like this is high stakes shit.
Yeah,
So-
like the joke in the '80s GI Joe cartoons, where like every time a plane exploded, you see the parachute go off, the guy would
Yeah.
float down to safety. It's like, no, that's not happening here. People are murdered and exploding all over the place.
Yeah.
So
And you know what's great is I still think Crosshairs can be redeemed. I don't think he's done anything.
I agree.
I
He
don't
has
know.
an inhibitor chip that they've enhanced. It's not him. This is not the character we saw in episode 1.
I
So,
get it. We'll see. I'm curious if they're gonna go that route, or if he's gonna be the bad that's going to.
I think they have to, because you're missing that brotherly shit talkingness that Hunter and Crosshairs had. Like they would talk shit to each other and jab at each other in the beginning, but they were still had each other's back at the end of the day. No matter what, like they could talk shit to each other all day, but they will still fucking die for that person.
Yeah.
And now in the Bad Batch, they don't have that. Hunter's the leader. Nobody really argues with him. There's nobody really giving anybody else any shit. They're just kind of going through. They need that asshole in the group. They don't have it right now.
I agree.
I get that. Yeah.
So
All right. Well, there you go. That's a Bad Batch.
I love it, Sean.
I'm so glad you love it, Steve. Again, this is some shit that I'll be trying to put you on to.
I'm gonna keep
It's
it going.
so
You know what's
great.
funny is Rachel watched the end of episode 1 and episode 2 with me when I was watching them out here. She just kind of came in the room and was playing on her phone or whatever while it was on. Today I was telling her, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go watch the Bad Batch, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna come with you. And she watched both episodes right here with me too. I was like, ooh,
Steve,
you did
I need you to watch episodes 1 and 4 and the last 4 episodes of fucking Clone Wars. That's all I need you to watch. That's all I need you to watch. Just watch Clone Wars. You
Just
can
watch
skip the
season
Ahsoka,
7. Just watch season
but
7.
you don't have to because there's some Ahsoka shit in the middle that you may not care about. But
Ahsoka's getting her own series, so it might help.
But it still plays into Steve. I'm telling you, the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars is some of the shit that'll give you goosebumps.
You know what I want to do,
swear
Sean? Here's what I want to do. I want to wait until Bad Batch is over, and then watch that because I kind of like having this newbie view on the show,
I get it.
and not having like the old like. If it doesn't work for me for some reason, I could come to the show and say, hey. Like I didn't like this. It didn't work for me, and you could go, "Oh, well, it's because you didn't see this or that." And this is
Bad Batch. The Bad Batch is episode 1 through 4. Watch, but just do me a favor. Can you just watch the last 4 episodes of season? A little can tell you the shit gives you goosebumps because it's like so important to the story. Yo, I watched that shit. I went back and watched fucking the last episode, episode 3, because I want to see how this shit played into episode 3. And god damn it, I fucking played that shit, and it flowed so well. It's just like god damn.
I wonder if somebody can make a supercut.
They need to, because that shit plays in very well. Yeah,
I mean, because even throwing this episode of episode 1 of Bad Batch in that supercut with Order 66, and you're just seeing Order 66.
They've done side by sides of shots from Bad Batch episode 1 with shots from the movie of episode 3, and they're identical. Like watching
Wait till you watch Clone Wars, dog. Wait till you watch those last episodes. Yo, let me tell you how dope the last episodes are. They start off dark, and you remember how like the scene, like the first call in, it's like and and then it's you like, oh shit, this is the beginning of the movie. And that's where you get into it at. You're like, fuck, this is about to happen. It's important, Steve.
You know what, Sean? Here's the thing. Like, I trust in Dave Filoni. Everything that Dave Filoni's been in charge of, I've enjoyed. I haven't gone back and watched his earlier shows. But if you're telling me that's what it is, then I'm gonna have to start going back.
I think you go back, and after this you go back and do that, and then you also go back and do Rebels.
I agree.
I try to do Rebels, man. I just and maybe you can give me the episodes that make sense, Sean. But I've watched like the first 6 episodes, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Skip season
1. I don't
1.
like this. It's too fluff, man.
Watch the end of season 1 and then go into 2, because it starts getting more into it, especially when you start going into
it was
a lot with Ezra.
When you bring in Thrawn, that's where everything takes it to another level. When Thrawn comes in, you're like, holy shit! The impact is so much more greater because
Kanan loses his sight.
Yeah. You're bringing in Maul too. Maul is in fucking season 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking great, dude. It's like
Darth Maul fights Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I've seen that, and it's not.
Yeah. But see, you skipped just to that.
I did.
You didn't get the build up to it.
I've also complained. I don't like the way lightsabers look in that show. I don't like.
Oh no, they're very skinny and thin, but it doesn't bother me. I mean, look, you can't get everything you want, but the storyline is so great that you kind of just overlook it. You're just like, eh.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give it a shot. Listen,
Maul trying to turn Ezra to his,
if you can convince Lil to that we don't have to do 31 days or any more Patreon movies or any of this other stuff, then I'll have time to watch it.
No, you can't do that. We have to do all that other stuff. You gotta find more time. You gotta find more time, Steve.
You got time to watch it.
I was gonna say, come on.
They're 30-minute episodes, so it's not that hard to watch.
Put your cell phone in a baggie like they did in the league when he was watching porn in the shower, but watch Rebels with it instead.
You don't have to put it in a baggie. What do you have the fucking shower facing the phone? Good lord! What are you in a prison shower? What's happening?
Oh, you're out. Okay.
All right. That's it for the Bad Batch then. Thank you guys.
That's how it ends.
Yeah. Prison showers. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for your support on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Let us know if you're watching the Bad Batch.
Yes.
This is Alel.
This is Sean.
And this is Steve. And until next time, everybody, keep it geeky.